G'day YouTube, Scrub here, and welcome to the channel. Initially I had this big long-winded intro planned where I'd go over all the various reasons why I'm making this video and why you guys are even seeing this channel, but I decided to throw that all in the bin because it was pretty shit and didn't make any sense whatsoever. So to be short, I'm pretty good at this game, as you can see, with a high elo of 560. I'm kind of a big deal, but you know, you wouldn't see me up there on the leaderboard. Anyway, I want to get better at this game, and unfortunately, due to some time constraints going on in my life at the moment, I really don't have a lot of time to play. So I'm taking some inspiration from the likes of Beagle Rush and Corin. Of course, huge shout out to those guys. You guys are legit legends, and if it wasn't for you creating your videos, I would probably be a lot worse at this game than I actually am. And yeah, we're doing a match review. I might not have a lot of time to play games, but I can find time to sit down and review it and hopefully figure out some things I'm doing wrong and find out ways to improve on them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Of course, this is my first one, so super interested to get some feedback. Today we're running a Special Forces deck a Special Forces Armored deck, which I've been playing for around 40 matches now. Later on in the video, I kind of break down the reasons why I'm running it. It's really not the best deck, but it kind of does its job for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. We're playing the map Dam. Let's hop into it. Okay, so we're loading up into a pretty low elo match between the US and Russia. Not a mirror match today, which is awesome because it's quite frustrating having those. As for the map pick, I think I've spoiled it already. We're playing on the Dam. The reason why I voted for Dead Center is that I haven't really played this map much outside of skirmish games, and I'll bring it up later in the video, my experience with those, but to be honest, we'll get into it later. Anyway, I'm running, as I said before, a Special Forces Armored deck. This is a deck that I've been using for around 30 games now. I wouldn't say it's great. It's definitely a beginner deck, with the main purpose of not necessarily bringing all of the best things that the Special Forces and Armored combination provides, but rather giving enough of everything to be able to properly learn how to play the game and utilize all those assets. You'll see later on, this deck only has one artillery system, and that is the Gimlers with a cluster. However, and that's just due to the fact that, at least at my stage, I want to prioritize actually getting good at the game and learning how to play instead of struggling to micro the artillery at all. Anyway, so we're looking at the spawn points. Typically when I played on this map, I've been playing on the red side, and I've always put a big effort into contesting L, A, B, and K. This game I wanted to play a bit differently, and I went E. E and I think F. It looks like it's kind of covered up now. And judging from the other player, it looks like we've got a Marine Striker deck coming up with me, which isn't too bad. Anyway, so here we are, into the game. At this point, I'm just trying to get an idea of the surrounding, of the area on the side of the map I'll be fighting on, because, as I said before, I haven't played on this map, at least on this side of the map, and we can see, we'll be able to tell that I haven't been able to play on it. Anyway, my opener is pretty simple, and I've been doing this for probably like the last 15 games. We always lead with a Set V3, a Shorad system, MNBF 22 Raptor. Of course, I could probably lead with some better stuff, say some ST teams, or even some Rangers Recon, or just something to contest the midfield a bit earlier on, but I've found leading with a SEP and the Shorad it's just a good combo, because at this elo, anything my opponent has at the start of a match, the SEP can kind of deal with, unless I completely misplayed. And by the time the SEP even gets to the front line, I've normally been able to bring up a bunch of extra units by helicopter to kind of build a bit of a front line. Of course, you get to see some incredible air gameplay right now, just with me just completely charging my F-22 in. At this point, I think I'm running the... I can't even remember what I'm running. Like, I'm just so new to this. But I do have the 9 kilometer missiles, which of course I don't use at all, and I decide to charge in. We get a kill, which isn't so bad. Starting, you know, we won the air attacks. We've killed a transport. A little bit of point up. Sorry, not air attacks. The opening air war. At this point, I start transitioning into actually bringing up some units to, you know, properly defend the front line. I like starting with 2 ST teams. STT teams. I find just having access to that early, anti-air. I find having access to the early anti-air to be so useful, particularly when it comes to early heli rushes or anything that the Russians can kind of throw at us. I'm sure there's more meta plays to go, but this has kind of worked for me. At this point, I'm just kind of having a look around, getting an overall idea of the area I'll be fighting with. I make a good read, identifying that the forest area will be, if I don't control that forest area, it will be kind of a quite, how would we say, if I don't control it, my opponent's going to, and it'll kind of put a lot of pressure onto the ENF objectives, which I'm trying to defend. And yeah, so kind of standing at this moment, we're all kind of pushing up. I'm just running my pilot through to get him a bit of an evac. We can see that I've dropped off my STT teams, 2 of them, which isn't bad. I'd probably argue that putting anti-air in that second skyscraper on the left is probably a bit of a silly idea, because it really is having a whole section of the map blocked off, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. At this point, yeah, we're now bringing in my Rangers Recon and a bit of supplies. Absolutely love the Rangers Recon. These units are incredible. They're my go-to forest clearing unit. They just kill anything they come across. We can see that my teammates also brought up some tow teams, which is excellent. It gives us a nice little variety for defending this point right here. We've got some snipers for recon, and yeah, it's fairly steady. Oh, and we've also got 2 choppers at the back. And here we go, the first contact. We've got my teammates brought up a pack, which is excellent. And yeah, looking over this now, this is kind of a downside of the opening play starting with the tank. The enemy is already pushing units up directly up that highway, and my tank is still trying to get into position, and it won't be here at all for this engagement. Thankfully though, those choppers are there to completely obliterate any of the infantry and the trucks that were running around. We're now sending the tanks, change the direction to go over to E, which is not necessarily a bad idea, because there's really no pressure to capture F at this moment. I've got some, no, not going to bring up, okay, yeah. Definitely a mistake right there. I should have my sentinel up right away. It'd be curious to see how long it takes me to get it up, because you know, in my recent games, I've very much realized that the sentinel is kind of a whole reason why you bring the special forces deck, and if you're not using it, you're really making it a lot more difficult for your team, because it's just such an excellent recon aircraft. Well, drone, really. Of course, bringing over my tanks to capture E. Got the shore system right there. Saw a helicopter going to pick up my pilot and take him home. Of course, yep. A freeze. It wouldn't be broken arrow if that was. It wouldn't be broken arrow if we didn't have some technical issues, which is fine. And now we're back. So, coming towards the 5-minute mark into phase 1. I've got my Rangers Recon up, patrolling these forests, which is a good idea. From memory, I was quite worried about some of the troops from those transports running through that forest area in case the helicopter didn't kill them. Which, you know, it's probably a waste of time. I probably don't need both Rangers Recon running through there. Maybe just one would be good, but you know. And now we've got the MK47 squads coming up. This is actually, I can't remember the YouTuber, but he does like 2000 ELO infantry gameplay, and in a number of his videos he's been really pushing for using the grenade launcher teams in skyscrapers. I've been trying to do that myself, and they absolutely wreck advances. I love the fact that they are able to suppress things, and just with normally if you've got enough units around, you're able to kind of overwhelm those whatever's attacking you. But now bringing up my Gimlers, I think I said before in the intro that they are equipped with cluster bombs. And okay, so I did kind of bring up before that this deck is very much built around just trying to learn the basics. At this point, I don't really think I have the ability to be able to properly micro the air tab, my units on the field, and then also do artillery. So by bringing a Gimlers with cluster, I'm able to just like take advantage of my recon, identify any high priority targets, or more than likely for counter artillery, absolutely smash them with the Gimlers, and then move it back. Some people, I've noticed a lot of people use them then immediately sell them. I've tried doing that, but it doesn't really work out for me. Probably a better idea, but yeah, we're all kind of learning here. Finally bringing in a sniper at 38 minutes. And I've also noticed I still don't have one of my pack systems up, even though I have plenty of points. Bringing out some extra supplies for tanks, which isn't necessarily bad, but to be a bit critical of my position right now, I've done a lot of recon, I'm preparing a good defensive line, but I'm not actually doing anything. I'm being quite passive at the moment. I'm bringing up a Bradley with some extra cavalry, with some Cav Scouts, with a sniper. I'm just kind of microing stuff around for really no reason. And where do I drop this sniper off? I'm happy that I'm bringing up a lot of supplies, which is, when you've got such a slow truck as the M53, it just takes ages to get supplies up, and I'm still quite bad at bringing in my helicopters. At this point, now that my teammate is bringing up his helicopters, I probably should have made the read that this might be a good time to push, even if I was to, not do much damage and even just probe the enemy's defenses. I'd be able to get a good understanding of how we're actually set up, because at the moment now I've got no clue, and I'm approaching this situation as if my opponent has this insanely strong defensive line. We can see that I'm now bringing over one of my my snipers to the side of the map to be able to provide some recon, which is an awesome idea. I noticed before, I think it was probably about 2 minutes ago, I zoomed in on the road that runs directly from G all the way to F, and I was like, oh crap, I need to get something on this road or I'm going to be caught out by it. Bringing in some more mech AA. I believe at this point I was quite worried about having helicopters coming in between coming from a G flank, which in retrospect was probably not really something I should be worried about, at least at this point, because my opponent is actually playing quite passive, similar to us, but we could also all be building up our forces to do a big push towards the end of phase 1. Running up my ranges to get a good view of that road, so I'm able to prepare and do any counter attacks if anything comes down there. And yeah, of course, no sentinel at this point. Gimler's just sitting there not shooting at anything. I've come to understand, I've come to view artillery in particular as this resource which kind of has a limited amount of time to be able to make its money back. You have to deal with so many factors, such as enemies getting into your backline and killing them, you not microing correctly and them getting counter batteried. But at this point I've spent probably about 300 points and I haven't been able to make anything back. This just cost me a bunch of money just to bring it to the field and really do nothing. Now bringing my Bradley up to get some more recon on that left flank. Look, at this point, it wasn't... There we go. Now I'm finally using the gimlets to provide some counter battery. We've got that Rangers recon just sitting there. I think I might have queued them up to run across to the other forest across that road to begin scouting towards G. But I might have cancelled that order. I've got another SEP coming up, and yeah, Mech AA setting up, kind of preparing that defense line. This is, I mentioned it before, and this is kind of where I have made a really bad read. By setting up the AA, it's not bad to bring more AA, particularly since I don't have my packs. However, if I'm building my defenses in a way to stop the helicopters coming through from this GF flank, those Mech AA aren't going to do a single thing. I should really have taken the initiative to push directly up into that forest line and station them along the F to get a better, get line of sight on those helicopters before they come directly into my rear field and just completely decimate my supplies. Signaling to my teammate that he's getting some napalm thrown at him. I think it's napalm, I'm not sure. I'm quite new to all this military jargon and stuff. Again, tank's not really doing anything at this point. More counter battery of the Gimlers. I did see before that our first counter battery did what would you say? That's first counter battery against the incoming artillery. I did manage to kill something there, so I've made a little bit of a point. I think maybe only if I kill like another 2 or 3 units, this Gimlet has kind of gone even, which is a, you know, gone even. Great way to think about it. I probably should have been paying a bit more attention at this point because we've just seen the enemy artillery or their AA piece move up. And right to the, I guess, left of the AA team, they're pretty much setting up on that hill ready to bombard me. This would be the perfect time to be able to do some counter battery at this point. I've now dropped off the extra Rangers recon, sending him through that forest line. Excellent idea. Probably could have moved him up a bit closer, but you know, got to be positive in some regards. But yeah, where are we right now? We're 2 minutes out from the end of phase 1. I've killed some points. I've killed potentially some artillery, maybe a couple of transport vehicles. We've captured F and E. We've just built a defensive line, but really that's about it. I should have really at this point that's all. I haven't really positioned anything to go and push G, and now with hindsight I'm seeing the mistakes I'm making in this match, which is just being completely too passive. I should be really pushing on G, honestly. Applying a bit of a pressure to the enemy, because at this point, while we're kind of sitting in the stalemate zone, I'm not doing anything and my teammate isn't doing anything. Even though he's actually doing stuff like moving up and trying to flank. Yeah. Moving the snipers up to sneak through this tree line. I was really terrified of doing this. I was so worried about them like just running up and blasting me, but I needed to do it because they will, yeah, Recon's king. Of course, running back my team, trying to get them out of the fire, micro-roaming around. And yeah, end of phase 1. Not much has happened, in all honesty. We're probably, yeah, we're equal on points, we're equalish on kills, nothing really bad, you know, we're being artilleried, a lot of probing. And I think at this point, yeah, still no sentinel. If I had that's the thing, if I had that sentinel up, my Gimlers could be providing counter battery or trying to attack these artillery pieces that are giving me and my teammate quite a lot of grief. Of course, a little bit of noob micro here. My plane is just, my heli is just hovering there, kind of giving a big like arrow, like this is where my supplies are, please shoot me. I was just, yeah, just looking at it now, just really worried. And it looks like my teammates on the left are kind of having quite a bad time. Bringing up the Cav Scouts to, I don't know necessarily what, but we're bringing him up nonetheless. I really enjoy running on Bradley. They're excellent. And here we go. My teammate is finally shooting some artillery. I think he's quite good with his artillery in this game. Yeah, quite nothing really happening. We can see, at least with the score going up, my teammates are having a pretty rough time. They're already up 1,000 points to 200, moving towards getting 2 points from the kill count. Still moving my crew, my rangers around to clear this area. At this point, I really should have committed to sending more units to G, or at least spreading up the recon in that forest and getting some more on the left flank over here. Again, just playing too passively. And here we go, seen some enemy forces, and yeah, slowly sneaking up the recon, moving them up. My teammate is preparing a big striker push on the side. There we go. We're at 28 minutes left in the match. What's that? I can't math right now. It's quite late, but 28 minutes into the match, and I finally bring up my sentinel. I would have been able to get complete eyes on all these units here and be shooting it with my artillery. Nice micro on the gimlers, which is awesome. Dropping off some extra supply for my teammate because I did nick a little bit. Just yeah, these steps should really be pushing up with my ally right now to go and target those SSO teams and the I don't even know the grenade launcher team it looks like. But I'm not doing that. I'm starting to. We got a nice little breakthrough there. We could push right through. I've got a bit of SHORAD to deal with helicopters, which is terrific. My attention starts getting directed to the right side of the map with this really, small BMP push. BMP? I don't even know what that is. This little push to the right, taking my attention away from where my teammate was pushing, providing some covering support with my tanks. So, yeah. A little bit of work. Not much, bringing back the rangers to get some extra supplies, javelin teams up front. Looking at it now, it wasn't necessarily a bad idea to bring up the javelin teams. In a previous recording I'd done on this, I was quite critical of myself bringing up javelins when my teammate had the tow teams, which is so much better. Doing some counter battery for gimlers on their artillery right there. And this is when I finally realized, the benefit of using the ST teams. And that is laser guided. Awesome, wicked. I can actually now direct my artillery, and I finally realized at this point. I haven't done it yet, but I do, and it scores a bit of kills. And yep, just moving my tanks left to right, not really doing much. We've kind of maintained the front line, but nothing else is really happening. Looking at this now, I should probably be paying more attention to how my teammates are doing. I haven't looked over to the left side of the map at all, and I'm not taking advantage of my air tab, particularly at this time, because at just these artillery pieces, the Tulpen right here would have been an excellent target for my F-35. We've now got the armor pushing up down the street. Javelins are engaging. Tanks are pulling back. Pushing up. My Bradley's kind of I've just now realized, and my Bradley's not really doing much. It's kind of hanging on the side, providing no recon. These Ranger recon here are just running back and forth, not doing much. And yeah, then I finally have my pack system up at the front line. 25 minutes into the game. Better late than never, I guess. We've got some SSO teams and Spetsnaz moving to the left of E. My teammate's bringing up his toe to kind of reinforce his position after restocking. This is going to be a bad one. A lot of supplies lost, quite a bit of kills. I don't know the exact amount, but the good thing about my Patriot system was there, so we could guarantee that kill. My teammate, now looking back, I've noticed that due to my, I'm gonna take ownership of it. Due to my inactivity, my teammate was getting quite frustrated, I think, at this point. They've been doing a lot of the pushing, defending for the E point, bringing stuff up and taking a lot of the fire. Well, I've just been sitting back, pretty much turtling, bringing in another SEP trophy at this point. My SEPs are just sitting back there, exerting no pressure on the map. And yeah, and I've also, despite having my Gimlets there restocking, I missed an excellent opportunity to do some counter battery. Thankfully, however, with my pack system waiting right there, we can go and take down this Lancer. Hopefully, at least. Can't remember if I do. But we're in a pretty bad spot at this point. 3,000 points down, more or less, and no real gains on our side of the map. I'm quite proud of myself moving the Patriot after shooting, particularly with the artillery nearby. My really shooting cluster at some infantry. That's all good. We're all allowed one silly strike. We've got some anti-air coming up. I think that's the anti-air unit, yeah. The SSO and the Spetsnaz running directly into E. Looking back now, those Rangers recon, particularly on the very right flank, should have just been moved to the left and be patrolling up and defending that tree line to the left of E. They would have been able to like run through there, kill a bit of stuff, because at this moment we've definitely got recon facing, looking at us from the back line. Something easy as like a little roadblock unit would have been perfect on the right side of the map to stop anything coming through, or at least provide a bit of a warning for when stuff is coming. Here we go. I did manage to get some kills, but I think that would just be luck. We're doing quite, yeah, not too great at this moment, I'll be honest. Very passive, very passive. My teammate is more or less fighting this fight on his own. His Marines are getting some pretty significant supporting fire on them. I've moved up my tanks to provide some covering fire, particularly to attack those vehicles in the forest. This is not bad. Taking full advantage of the APS on the tanks to be able to do a bit of damage before pulling back to avoid any artillery. Finally, F-35A bringing in to deal with some artillery in the backline. I've kitted this aircraft out with two 500-pound bombs. At this point, I was still, learning how to use them and how to actually do the precision targeting. I think at some point in the future, I'll switch over to Stormbreakers. However, just the F-35 is excellent as running in there, doing these quick little strikes on artillery in the backline. It's excellent, and it's really one of the benefits of running this deck. I'm trying to soften out the edges of my I guess like baby's first deck. I want to soften around the edges so that this deck can just be focused on learning the fundamentals and having different units in the deck that provide certain roles. So F-35 is to deal with stuff in the backline. It's to counteract the fact that I don't have any artillery to provide supporting fire. Rangers recon to clear through all the forests and whatnot. Here we go. And finally, I'm playing a bit of infantry. Messed up the micro there and didn't really quite bring in quite enough. Of course, not necessarily a bad thing. I saw that my we're getting a lot of infantry infiltrating E, and so I probably need some of them to kind of push back. Like I've had bad luck of just running my tanks directly into infantry and then been just completely torn apart. And yeah, my set 3 is just sitting there in E. There's nothing to really counter them. Got the this is the amazing thing of the grenade launcher. They just completely shred anything. It's excellent. I love it so much. It's so much fun. Yeah, Rangers Recon moving up to slowly sneak towards G. Sep moving back and then to the front. I think I can't remember my reason. I was just, you can really see it now. At this point in the game, I was terrified, and I'll use that word, completely terrified of just getting a massive push. But that really didn't come at all. My allies, the enemies were holding us here. We weren't pushing, we were just letting them hold on to E. We're not moving our units that much. We're allowing ourselves just to be bombed. That you can see just right there, the artillery piece is just chilling right there. And I'm quite late on the micro, and they're more or less already aiming and preparing to fire. Again, just too passive. It's the biggest thing in this game. You've got to be constantly aggressive. Because anything I've realized all these points I'm spending, I'm pretty much just, if I spend 300 points and I use that unit and I go in there and kill a bunch of stuff and it dies, I'm up on points, you know, more or less. I've made like 300 points on that. At the moment now, I've just put a ton of resources into preparing this defensive line, which isn't being probed. I'm not counter-attacking and I'm not pushing up. We're just sitting here doing nothing. We're just doing nothing. I'm playing more or less a support player. It's good that I did bring up the combat engineers in the AMPVs to provide a bit more pressure for E, but really there's no reason that I can't just bring over some of my infantry to help push through E, or even have the infantry already there. I've got a Bradley with an autocannon that would completely shred the SOS. I think at this point it's just the Spetsnaz team. I can just push with the Bradley and the tank, and or even ask my teammate with the Marines to push his stuff up, so we're able to actually take back E. But no, we're just kind of chilling. We're being sneaky and running around the side of the map and not really doing much. Well, my teammates absolutely get clobbered, and the whole left flank of the map is just completely falling. And I think particularly around like now seeing this in the last 4 minutes of the match, the momentum completely shifted. While I was in particular being super passive on this side of the map, my opponents weren't really capitalizing on that and doing a lot of aggressive pushes. But now that the whole left flank is falling, and we can see it on the mini map and even in the kill count, it's just my opponents have I can feel their confidence building, that they're moving into a really strong end of phase 2, and which will lead to a very strong phase 3. There we go. SSO and the Spetsnaz dropping off some combat engineers, and they just clear them up, which is awesome. APV up, providing a bit of covering fire. And yeah, look, we're just... My teammate has moved his tanks up. He's trying to run up the recon behind instead of providing the recon at the front. My tanks are literally sitting at the back, not doing anything when I could be providing additional pressure. And yeah, it's rough to watch. I'm too worried about holding these points and not actually doing anything. And because of that, the enemy can just fly their aircraft in and bomb like crazy. It might be a bad read to come away from this saying I should have been bringing up my I should bring up my pack system a bit closer, but definitely with that push that my teammate made, I should have been supporting him with my SHORAD and my mech engineers right there. And yeah, okay, end of phase 2, moving into phase 3. we're being completely torn apart. I'm pulling my units back from E, moving up my tanks because they might as well start doing something. G has been completely left untouched. There's been a little bit of combat there, but really not much. And yeah, I'm floating quite a bit of points. No sentinel up. I think the sentinel's been taken down. And yeah, my opponents are just kind of mincing up on the left, capturing all the points and playing a slow game of slowly picking us apart. I'm running these Cav Scouts out to try and get a bit more recon on the other side of the map, get a good view. You know, I think I mentioned before that I was making a guess that my opponent had eyes on into my backlines, like they managed to sneak some stuff through. I would argue that if they did, they would easily have bombed those three just tanks sitting there not doing anything, but they would have just bombed that immediately if they could see that very poor decision, which I've come to learn is a very bad idea, keeping three tanks together, stationary, not moving. It's a horrible idea. Gimler's ready to go, not shooting at anything, and yeah, it's just a very slow time. Finally getting a bit of contact just north of the skyscrapers with my Bradley there and a recon team in support. I've brought up some extra combat engineers to properly fill out the AMPVs and now sending the helicopter back with my pilot. Which completely gets blown up. Wicked. I'm now slowly building up a little bit of force to do a counterattack, which is terrific. This should have just been... I don't know why I just didn't select Viggs and my tank and completely fast travel F to G to just push that. Here, this is when my teammate dropped, which is, you know, moral. I think it's a rage quit, without a doubt. More than likely due to me not assisting him and just kind of sitting back playing base building. Just trying to build this massive army which will defend the, you know, this push that will never come because they'll just artillery the hell out of me. My teammates are fighting like crazy on the other side of the map. Yeah, I kind of pop a little message in the chat saying that I'm quite worried that I might need some help over here. I'm fighting off two players. You know, to be fair, I probably wouldn't have needed help over here if I did anything and actually, yeah, if I was actually playing, you know, pushing the maps a bit more. There's been no push towards I, H, G. In looking at it now and having a better understanding of this map, controlling, if you control E and G, you're able to create this like quite straight line of defense, and if you can build up around there, you can build this like cushion from any attacks coming back. I should have, if I paid more attention to what was actually going on in the game statement, focusing on this, just like, no, I have to kind of defend this point, I probably could have made the read that, okay, my teammates on the other side of the map are struggling a bit, but getting a lot of pressure. We should be pushing on this side quite aggressively. Probably not running through the open field with our tanks, but maybe more so sending up infantry, storming through those buildings, probing it, and then eventually bringing up the tanks up. Good read with the Gimlers, and dropping some nice cluster bombs on those tanks. F-35, trying to shoot something that wasn't really there. I've missed tagging where that AA said it was coming from. Another drop from a teammate on the left side of the map, more than likely rage quitting as well because the match isn't going in our favour. It's, at this point, it's definitely a loss with 10 minutes to go, but you gotta stay to the end. You never want to give up. SSO snuck into E to kind of do a little sneaky take, but I managed to bring my Bradley up there just to sit there and provide a bit of, just to neutralise the point. Moving the steps up for no reason, looking at my teammate being like, oh shit. Oh great. Everyone's leaving, this game's going down the drain, and yeah. Himmler's firing off some more rockets into those lines over there. I think that was more of a blind fire, not really based on any information or recon that I saw. I was making the guess that they were kind of preparing the stage to push into E, but really at this point they don't need to. And even look here, just bring up my 3 tanks, just this overwhelming fire, and they would have completely pushed out this SSO team. Toad's trying to provide some counter battery, which goes to show the importance of controlling that tree line just to the left because you overlook all of E. At this point I'm kind of trying to lock in quite hard. Bringing up some more teams, which probably should have been here a bit sooner because it will take a while for them to get up here. I'm really trying to lock in because at this point we're just like, I understand that we're losing, but I'm just focusing on holding these points. I've made it my mission, that's what we're doing. I have no idea how those tanks survive, and they probably should have all been killed to teach me a lesson. Pulling them back. We've got my combat engineers just kind of chilling on the side. Not really doing much once again. That's just kind of this whole game. Just sitting back, just chilling. Yeah. Bringing up supplies. No sentinel. Rangers Recon just been sitting there for probably about 10 minutes now, not doing anything. No push on the G point to add a bit of pressure. It's just a shooting gallery for my opponents. And as time goes on, this 5v2 is soon going to turn into probably a 5v1, and we're going to become the poor target of all the enemy's air and artillery. Yeah, okay. This is probably the ideal situation just coming up, having these Rangers Recon right here. Being able to intercept that small little push of armored vehicles moving up. Excellent little counter force to stop that push. Probably not worth 160 points sitting there the whole match. Massive bomb strike and a bunch of broken artifacts. No, surprisingly, only takes out 1 AMPV, making engineers alright. HIMARS doing their best to shoot some counter battery. And yeah, just really a game of survival at this point. Rangers Recon, I think they're starting to engage those. Yeah, here we go. Rangers Recon on the right are now engaging the units defending G, which is, quite good. As we can see, they're just completely tearing apart that squad right there, even though they're being suppressed. Moving the Bradley up, Mech Engineers kind of hanging around. We're just sitting ducks at this point. Armored push coming to the left. The Straw Rad is kind of just chilling in that forest, waiting for helicopters to come. That was a cruise missile, trying to target that pack. At this point, I'm just completely overwhelmed. I'm just completely and utterly overwhelmed, microing another guy's units and trying my best to kind of maintain this, it's just a mess. Moving the mech engineers up to E, to provide a bit of to help secure that. Tanks have been restocked and moving back up. Rangers Recon moving back to resupply and head back out. But AMPV should be pushing directly towards E. It's frustrating me that I'm just leaving it there. I've got my ST teams kind of hanging back, as well as my JAV teams. JAV teams could have also been moved up just to be in that wood line or even that first tree just next to E to be adding a bit of pressure towards the incoming armor. At least even if I don't kill anything, but to really show them that there's some anti-tank here that could actually hurt them. I wonder what has happened to the right. It looks like my Rangers Recon have stopped shooting and they're just chilling there. Did one of the units die? No, it looks like both units are there. They're both kind of hidden. Now just from that I can now see that my opponent on G was probably just microing his artillery, and that's it. If the fact that he didn't see me push all those units up there to be able to push. Finally, good play. Sending the AMPV up to attack G. Excellent idea. Combat engineers running into E to go and deal with the SSO team that moved up. Moore's team moving up to provide some flanking support against that tank. Shorad chilling back at the back. Gilmer's moving back to reload, moving into the final 5 minutes of phase 3. And look, actually, I lied. My Sentinel's still up, which is kind of cool. Probably could have been moved a little bit closer, but it is what it is. Mech engineers running back after taking some fire from the tank. I've brought in a rescue mission to support that poor tank that was hit by that massive cluster strike. Mech engineers hiding behind the wall. Bad decision microing. Well, I don't think the poor little engineer in the side could have really gone anywhere. Armor push coming down the middle of the road. I'll properly read that, I believe. Yeah, I've read it, and I'm now moving up my tanks to intercept. Terrific idea. Rangers recon running back for no reason. Mech engineers pushing up to the G side flank. We probably don't even need to run through the forest. Just push directly up and just slam right directly into that point. Gimler's assistance. Holding back on the Gimler strike, but actually looking at dropping some bombs on G. Tanks moving up. SD team's not really doing anything. Javelin's chilling back. And now we're getting a big push onto E. Rangers moving up. Sorry, no. AMPVs with more teams moving up. Sep 2 engaging VT80. And I can't really see what the other one is. I'm still kind of learning the designs. Another T80. Bit of a tank battle going on here in the smokes. We're all running back shooting each other. We've got the Moors on the side preparing to move up and strike the tank moving up. Step 3 kind of dealt with that. Rangers recon taking some fire. Mech engineers going to be moving up to attack those guys. Paul Bradley getting kind of double teamed by the 72. Moors team moving up. I don't know if I needed both Moors teams at this point, or all 4, to deal with this tank. It's definitely kind of like a lot of fire coming through. A good micro in a way. Moors teams are just crazy. Trying to pick him up. This is something I really struggle with these vehicles. Tank coming behind, just planes bombing the shit out of me. That Cav Scout I placed back towards F was actually quite well placed because it gave a really nice overview of that road. Really could have put some of my Javelin teams there to provide a bit of support. Here we go. Mech team completely cleared this side of the map. AMPV moving up to G. Getting a lot of fire now. Trying to move my Javelins out to keep them alive. More teams running into E itself. To counter it being captured and provide some supporting fire. Shorad doesn't have its radar on, so it doesn't really do anything. It just dies. AMPV completely tanking this helicopter and blows it apart. And yeah, we've kind of got a lot of action going on right now, and I feel like, you know, even looking back, I'm doing quite well, doing my best, more or less. I finally lock in at the last 2 minutes of the match, but nonetheless, good. Back doing a bit of work, bombs come in, clearing my back line, and yeah, it's doing my best. I think that's the way to describe it. Looking at it now, like, I'm kind of noticing a couple of things. Like, the AMPVs absolutely wrecked me, and I should have been a lot more aggressive with them and pushing to capture this point before. Even if 2 APVs were with my teammates tank push, it would have been a lot different. And also, which is bad, and that's just reinforced by the fact that a single AMPV was able to dislodge the whole right side of the map, and I think at this point I've captured G, which is pretty awesome. Tank pushed through. Bunch of helicopters coming up to provide some support. I think at this point I'm just trying to move all my stuff around to keep them alive, minimize the amount of point losses. Completely brutal strategic bomber strike. And yeah, I'm just trying to bring in my F40, my F35s to get a bit more points, moving my AMPV around so it's not striked. F22 Raptor out for some reason, and yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's the match. So, if we were to kind of think back, what were a couple of things that were going wrong? I think it's probably better to start with the positives. I was quite happy with how my artillery micro was going. That was really, really good. When I finally realized the importance of pushing points and sending those AMPBs towards, to assist with the E push as well as the G push, that was terrific. I did a lot of work there. What else? Good use of my I'm just gonna pause the video here. Good use of my F-35 at a couple of moments, and yeah, things that need to improve. Definitely can look at improving the. We can definitely look at improving my pressure. That whole game, I didn't do a single thing. I sat over back lines, pretty much playing a tower defense, not really doing anything, and that did play a huge impact on my team, and I think was a contributing factor to why my teammate dropped. Second on that point, I'm investing too many points into units and not really using them. I had, those 2 steps didn't really do anything. They just kind of, moved around between both points. They finally at the end stopped an armored push coming from the center, which would have dislodged F, but I think that really also came down to that cav team I put there. I should have really brought up those Mech AA riflemen, which was sitting just behind F. They didn't really shoot down anything the entire game. I don't think I even resupplied them once. They just pretty much sat there, just chilling, waiting for this push that was never really going to come. If we were to go back, I'll just hop back a second and move to the... Here we go. We'll just have a look at the kill feed. Positive thing, Rangers Recon did quite well. Awesome. Should have brought up my pack a lot sooner as well. I don't think I lost a single Sentinel, which is kind of cool, but probably could have moved it up a little bit more. Definitely pressure, map presence, and actually, playing Broken Arrow instead of sitting back and not doing anything. So my voice is kind of breaking right now. It's been a bit of a long day, but I wanted to get this done and get this finished so I can finally upload it because I'm super excited to put this up, even though it was probably not a good match to do, and it was quite slow and boring and a lot of me complaining and beating myself. But, we're here for improvement and I want to get better. We've got to look at the things that worked really well and the things that looked bad, that didn't do so well, and kind of figure out what we could have done better. I guess key takeaways from this is a team game. If I'm not playing as a part of a team and I'm not doing stuff, I'm kind of a detriment. So I need to focus on that. Good-ish placement with my Rangers Recon. That was all right. I probably didn't need 4 of them hanging around in those forests, not really doing anything. Overall, I think we're good here and probably should take a little bit of a break and hop onto the next commentary, match review, and we'll see if we can kind of learn anything more from that. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. And if you've noticed anything yourself, try and find a positive thing I was doing and say one nice thing about me, and also then you can give me a whole laundry list of things that I'm doing wrong. I might only be 500 elo, but we gotta start somewhere and move our way up. Oh, before I go, packs. I need to get my pack out a lot sooner, and I need to be bringing them up to be a bit more aggressive. I didn't bring one in for about 15 minutes of a match, and if my teammate didn't bring his pack 3 up, we would have been completely not relying on anything. We would have given my opponent full air superiority to drop bombs, which the game turned into the end, just being bombed by artillery, not moving enough, and getting bombed by planes. I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching this match review. Looking forward to doing the next one, and I hope you guys learn a thing or two. And yeah, Scrub signing off.